Actually, the happiest things are here at home. Hong Kong, our home.
Hello and welcome to the Financial Report. I'm Hailing Chan. Local stocks closed flat today to put an end to a four-day winning streak. The Hang Seng Index finished 32 points lower at 23,211. Trading volume was $56 billion. That's after a slew of mainland economic data released by Beijing today sparked a sell-off of growth-sensitive shares. Now let's have a look at today's most active stocks. HSBC was 25 cents up. The Bank of China gained 2 cents. iShares A50 dropped 8 cents. Hong Kong exchanges lost $3.60 and ICBC traded 1 cent down. CCB traded 1 cent down as well. China Life was 20 cents lower. China Mobile gained 15 cents. Sinuk went down by 8 cents and PetroChina traded 2 cents lower. Hong Kong dollar exchange rates now: 7.75 to the US dollar, 12.08 to the British pound, 7.85 to 100 Japanese yen, 10.19 to the euro, and 100 Hong Kong dollars is nearly 79 renminbi. In early European trade, the London FTSE is down by nearly 2 points at 6,581. London gold's buying price is $1,469.86 US dollars an ounce, asking at $1,470.63 an ounce. And in Frankfurt, the DAX is down by 4.5 points at 8,245. And in Paris, the CAC is trading 30 points lower at 3,925. That's today's Financial Report. Join me for the main news after the break.
Coming up, main news and weather report. No matter where you are, you always want to go back to where it all started. Following their footsteps to the most fascinating destinations in China. Find out about the varied cultures and what it means to be a Guangdonger. Leisure Time, tracing origins around Guangdong. Tonight at 8:30.
She's a model and she's looking good. I'd like to take her home, that's understood.
Luxurious bag on your arm, beautiful scarf around your neck. Think about where they're from. Are we the accomplices causing them endangerment? All about documentary. Animal Treasure. Tonight at 10:05.
Be cool. Keep updated with the international music scene. Warner Music Power Station. Thursday night at 10.
Every day we learn. From him. From her. From someone we barely know. But what does it mean to you and me? Find out the answers on Global 3000. Tonight at 8.
各位同學，今日我哋玩看圖講故事。
雞、鴨、雀仔。
咁呢？
手唔好摸去地，萬一掂到就要即刻洗手。廁所要小心，唔好掂到佢哋嘅便便。媽咪買餸都唔好掂佢哋，要煮熟晒啲肉先好食。
無論去到邊，都要記住頭先講過嘅嘢啊。
Good hygiene prevents avian flu.
诚意眼罩，胜尽河北。爽爽的贵阳。
Good evening, you're watching the main news on ATV. I'm Hailing Chan.
And I'm Edna Zhe. Here are tonight's top stories.
CY Leung warns filibustering lawmakers of dire consequences in confrontational question and answer session.
Police commissioner denies political motive in arresting Occupy Central member over a protest 2 years ago.
Ombudsman criticizes government for failing to stop restaurants occupying public spaces. Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying has warned that Hong Kong faces dire and irreversible consequences if the government's budget bill is not passed by the middle of this month.
But he's refusing to negotiate a deal with the radical lawmakers blocking the bill, who were kicked out of the LegCo chamber today. ATV's Belinda Lloyd reports.
Leung Chun-ying began his question and answer session in LegCo with a speech focusing on the benefits that Hong Kong is getting from the mainland. But things got off to a confrontational start when he took aim at the 4 radical pan-democratic lawmakers who are delaying the budget bill with a filibuster. The chief executive insisted he respects lawmakers' right to scrutinise the budget, but accused the 4 legislators of not having a clear enough understanding of what the city faces if the budget bill doesn't get the green light by the middle of this month. That incensed the League of Social Democrats' Leung Kwok-hung, who tried to rush at the chief executive. People Power's Albert Chan, Raymond Wong and Raymond Chan joined in the protest, calling Leung Chun-ying a liar. LegCo President Zhang Yuk-sing had them kicked out of the chamber for their troubles. Leung went on to warn that Hong Kong is facing a fiscal cliff and will suffer serious and irreversible consequences if the budget is blocked. He urged lawmakers to pass the bill as soon as possible, as a failure to do so would hurt Hong Kong's reputation both at home and abroad. Leung defiantly told lawmakers that he won't negotiate a deal with the radicals, declaring that a minority will not be allowed to impose conditions on his government to get what they want. That did not go down well with Civic Party lawmaker Ronnie Tong, who accused Leung of smirking when the 4 radical lawmakers were expelled from the chamber. Tong told the chief executive that the conduct of the 4 directly elected radicals reflected the deep divide in society and demanded to know how he would deal with this problem. Leung brushed aside Tong's concerns, saying he would adopt a tolerant approach. Another controversial issue Leung raised in the chamber was the increasing animosity Hong Kong residents have towards mainland visitors. He stressed that while his government always puts Hong Kong people first, local residents have to consider the feelings of visitors from across the border, and warned that outrageous criticisms against the mainland could hurt ties between the 2 sides. He highlighted recent objections to the government's plans to rezone a sector of the newly reclaimed Central Waterfront Promenade and give it to the PLA to use as a military dock. Leung said his government is prepared to explain the rezoning proposal to avoid any misconceptions, and pointed out that the PLA has promised to open up the promenade when it is not required for military use. On a lighter note, several lawmakers brought up the subject of the giant rubber duck in Victoria Harbour, saying Hong Kong should have more of that. The chief executive agreed, saying it's an example of how creative industries can help develop the city. Belinda Lloyd, ATV News.
Police Commissioner Andy Tsang has denied accusations that the force is trying to intimidate people by arresting a member of the Occupy Central movement over a protest nearly 2 years ago.
Some lawmakers accused Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying of political persecution, but he refused to comment on the case. ATV's Emily Sue reports.
Leung Chun-ying's question and answer session in LegCo today was interrupted by Gary Fan of the New Democrats, who stood up to challenge the chief executive over the arrest of a pro-democracy protester yesterday. Fan was ushered out of the chamber, but he succeeded in drawing attention to the case of 26-year-old Melody Chan, a trainee solicitor and volunteer at the office of the Occupy Central movement. Chan was charged yesterday with 1 count of assisting the holding of and taking part in an unauthorized assembly during the July 1st rally nearly 2 years ago. Fan said Chan's arrest demonstrates a politically motivated campaign of white terror, as police have already charged 19 people over that rally.
剛才我係借
He accused authorities of trying to scare away those who want to take part in the occupation of Central next year by people demanding universal suffrage. Police Commissioner Andy Zhang denied victimizing anyone, claiming that although his officers spent 2 years investigating Chan, they had no idea about her Occupy Central role.
Now, in this case, the police has no knowledge of the person involved being a volunteer for the particular movement until after her arrest. So there is no basis whatsoever for anyone to accuse that the police was trying to scare anybody off.
Zhang said in the 22 months they took to trace Chan, officers made 20 calls to her phone, visited a boat she loaned, and contacted her family, but still were unable to locate her until yesterday. Also, they had to seek direction from the Department of Justice before taking any action. The police commissioner said investigators had kept a low profile, which lengthened the probe significantly.
Of course, in this case, the investigating officers decided not to adopt a higher profile in locating the individual. That is to say, they decided not to include her in the stop list upon arrival or departure from Hong Kong, and they also decided not to locate her at her place of work. As to whether or not we should adopt a high profile in dealing with these sort of cases, I welcome comments from members.
Back in the chamber, lawmaker Charles Mok also questioned the timing of Chan's arrest, but the chief executive said he could not answer any questions before he hears both sides of the story. And when Christopher Cheung asked Leung how he will tackle Occupy Central if it does take place next year, Leung said Hong Kong is a law-abiding place with good social order. He said he doesn't want to see people breaking the law or inciting others to break the law. Emily Sue, ATV News.
The Ombudsman has found that the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department has failed to tackle the problem of restaurants extending their outside seating onto public space.
The department has promised to follow up on the watchdog's calls for tougher action against offenders and tighter licensing rules. ATV's Bo Lang reports.
Outside seating helps restaurants compensate for a shortage of space, but there's a problem with encroaching on government land. The Ombudsman today slammed the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department for not taking action against restaurants that extend their premises onto public space. The watchdog said this causes a nuisance to residents with obstruction, hygiene problems and noise pollution. Its investigation found the FEHD had failed to effectively use its powers to put a stop to this. The department only seemed to be concerned about its frequency of inspections and number of prosecutions, the Ombudsman said, and it was too lenient with its licensing system. Operators who have had their licenses suspended or cancelled can still apply for new ones without any restrictions. The watchdog found some restaurants which are prosecuted, convicted and fined continue to occupy public spaces and operate even after losing their licenses.
If the problem persists after lots of prosecution, after lots of inspections, then I think the department should consider initiating other measures to tackle the problem. The department should consider forming some sort of a special task force to tackle the problem of illegal extension of these restaurant food premises.
The Ombudsman also criticised the Lands Department for not taking an active role in solving the problem. It urged both departments to work together. The FEHD responded by listing out the enforcement action it has already taken. The department promised to act on the